I'm with Gavin Hart, who's a sustainability consultant. Gavin, where exactly are we on the sustainability issue or curve, if you like, right now?
I think I'm kind of using the word unsustainable as opposed to sustainable.
Sure.
We are very much in the unsustainable curve. The actual transition towards a sustainable world will be probably the greatest, I suppose, action of our time. I think that how we do that is yet to be defined, and where we're at as a society is something that we're going to have to tackle quite quickly. The issues of climate change and peak oil are really the pushers now to make that transition. It's the renaissance really of our generation.
Sure. And do you think that the changing in mindset that's presumably going to be required do you think that's actually begun yet, or do you think that the vast majority of people are still quite happy with the business as usual and the status quo?
I think yes. I mean, in truth, again, when you look at the figures, you'd have to say that we are still on a growth trajectory. The assumption is that the planet is an infinite resource and that we can continue to consume and grow that consumption year on year. I think the real challenge is when that curve starts to take a turn. Will we manage that turn, or will it be a turn that is forced upon us, where we will squabble over the remaining resources on the planet? And in a sense, that is, I suppose, the renaissance of our time. Can we organise the transition towards to living within the carrying capacity of our planet, or will it be forced upon us in a way that really may not be so pretty?
Sure. And I suppose bringing this, climate change tends to be a little abstract. Peak oil, on the other hand, is a much easier concept for most people to understand. And that is, there's a certain amount of it out there, and at a certain point we hit the apex, and after that point it's downhill all the way. Where do you think we are on peak oil?
I suppose my feeling on peak oil is the markets really are a very clear indicator of what's happening with oil. That trajectory of price, $139 yesterday, is quite clearly on the climb. Where that actually peaks out, I have no idea. I think that we're heading into seriously uncharted ground, and to me the market has always been a very clear indicator of where things are going. There are billions of dollars spent every day on working these things out. So, you know, an indicator like the value of oil on any daily basis, in my mind, is an indicator of where we're going towards peak oil.
Even within the last week, there was an article by a person described as an oil industry expert saying that really this problem is totally overstated, and there's plenty of oil, and really improvements in development or in exploration techniques, etc., should see us right for the foreseeable future. Do you see any merit in that view?
He's right. There is plenty of oil. I mean, we're only used half of it. I mean, and look at what we did with the first half. It was phenomenal. So there is loads of oil. The trouble is that it's not going to be so easy to get at this time round. It's you know, it's like when you have something down at the bottom of a glass and the straw only goes a certain distance. You know, it takes harder work to get it out. And the difficulty with the other side of peak is that demand will continue to go up. In other words, people will assume that there's more of the stuff. But without supply keeping up with that, that's where the challenges of extraction and all of the technologies that are required to get this difficult oil out of the ground will really come to the fore.
Well, the messages, I mean, that we see on TV and I suppose through advertising, and which I guess are the main messages that we're exposed to, none of them that I'm aware of anyway are suggesting that it's time to really hunker down for a crisis.
I think so. I mean, I think that we're all living in a collective denial about this. I mean, in the 1970s, when the oil crisis hit us, no one was prepared for it. That was very much a political action that occurred there. I think where we're at now is really the point that, as I say, that peak oil is in and around the next, maybe has happened or within the next 5 years. You know, we're hearing it every day that there are supply squeezes in the chain of production. I think that there is no real, it's like being an alcoholic, and I use this analogy regularly. An alcoholic will always believe they can get another drink until they decide that they actually want to use less of it or stop using it altogether. And in a way, the peak oil or the oil addiction has us in a similar sort of a denial.
Sure, and if I can say with the analogy, it's like the barman is also setting policy at the moment.
The barman is setting policy, but the drinkers still want to get it, you know.
Sure. No, what I mean by that is the forces, the marketing forces and the political forces are saying drink up. The economy needs you to spend money. The economy needs you to drink up.
Yes, very much so. And you know, I think that, again, to use another story, the emperor is wearing no clothes. I mean, I think that at some stage, possibly sooner rather than later, I think our politicians will be it will become more clear to them. Politicians don't like bad stories. The difficulty with climate change, the difficulty with peak oil, is that they're not actually the best of stories for a politician to have to sell. The challenge for politics and the challenge for business going forward is, how do we actually deal with these realities, and can we come up with innovative solutions to the challenges of peak oil and climate change? That really, again, is the leadership there? Are the business leaders there? The science is clear, and I think the facts are obvious. It's the transition is now required.
Gavin Hart, thank you very much.